So did you have a chance to actually look at the authentication? Um,
Yeah, I managed to look at it.
okay. And did you manage to make it work?
Yeah, I managed to. I managed to managed to make sure that it went to each authentication.
Okay. So you managed to log in or no?
Yeah, I managed to log in.
Okay, that's good. And okay. So you can see my code, right?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay. So may I know what did you understand about let me see here. Yeah, this portion.
This portion is determine the user ID, its role, and its username.
No, I mean from line 44 until line 48,
Okay,
what is this doing?
it is determine determine the ID of the user,
Mhm.
uh, its role, and its username.
Okay. Okay, so here, okay, what is this user for? So this variable user, what is it?
It's for it's not a character. It is for what's it called? I forgot the word. Um, uh, the user is from the user table, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yes, you're correct. Yes, it is from the user table. So this is the result of querying the user table. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so it means that it contains a row that is returned from querying the table, the database table. And inside it, we have all the columns that is returned. So we have associated ID, we have role, we have username. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when we use the word session here, actually, I'm not getting the information from the user table just like that. Session means that I'm storing the information that I retrieved from um, the table users. That is actually based on the login, the username and the login provided, and I am storing them inside the session. So, do you know what is the meaning session?
Session is when we are connecting to the system, right? When we are using the system, and uh when this uh when they started to storing each information when we kick in inside the system.
Okay, maybe the information that you provided or your answer maybe is not well organized, but let me again. So we talk about session before. So, okay, now let me also try to understand from you. Do you know that by the end of this, so okay, we start this function login from here, from line 20, which is the curly braces opening, until we reach here. Is that clear? Or maybe here, 78, line 78, the closing of the curly braces. By when we run this first line, or last line here, and we reach the closing curly braces at line 78, every variable that we created, or we even use it to store any variables or data, will be totally disappeared from the memory. It will be totally erased from the memory. It will have no presence, except the information that you saved using one of two ways. You either log the information. So when you log an information, it will be written to a file. The other way is to keep the information inside the memory. And the only way to do that, to keep the information inside the memory, you need to use session. So session, it will be inside, it will be stored in the browser memory for the user for some time. So this session, typically, Laravel have its own definitions for sessions and how far this information can actually stay in the browser of the user. It might have some default setting that, okay, maybe it stay for as long as the session is open. So it means that while you are opening the tab, that shows information that is related to this website, then maybe this session will last. Okay, so this varies from one framework to another, but what we want to say that this session information that I am storing in this way will be stored as long as it have two ways. Either you are able to keep it until you close the tab from your browser, or according to other setting in the Laravel. Okay, so but what we want to say that once you end up executing this method login, the only way to keep information, either to log information, because this will be written to the log file, or to store the information into a session. By storing information into a session, it means that you are able to retrieve the same information again when you go to another controller. So, okay, we have how many controllers? We have authentication controller, we have student controller, we have teacher controller. Okay, so how are we going to pass information from authentication controller to the student controller? There is no way. The only way is to store information inside a session. So the session is like you are creating, there is nothing similar in Java, but I would say that as if you are creating a global variable that can sustain between different controller calling. Because so as long as you're opening the tab of this website, so we will be able to keep this session in the memory. And we don't know, after you call the student controller, we don't know how long you will keep the tab open. And then after this, maybe you leave it for 2 or 3 hours. After this, maybe you click another button on the student controller to maybe solve another exercise. So when you solve another exercise, maybe you will move to another controller, maybe not. We're not sure. We're not yet sure. Maybe you would just close the tab totally. Okay, so we need a way to actually keep the information, because when you do the login, you get some information from the login process, and we need to keep that information always in the memory because we will use it. What is that? Like the role. What is your role? Are you a student? What is your user ID? So we know if you are a student, what is your student ID? Okay, so this is a very important information to us actually. And what is your username? Okay, so we are able to query if you are a student, then we are able to query the student table, and then we can retrieve information like for your your first name, your last name, and so on. So did I make myself clear so far?
Yeah.
Did you understand what is the session for?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me understand from you. So this if statement will take you to different places based on the role. Did you understand what is this if statement is doing?
Yeah, it's determine on which interface should the system go to after its login session.
Okay, that's excellent. And okay, may I know, do you know what is redirect?
Is it like going to the page direct?
Yes, okay. So when you redirect, do you know what is the meaning routes?
Yeah, it's routes is like which the system will bring you in each session, login session. Is that right?
Not so much accurate. Okay, let me then. Okay, so we do the redirect and the calling to things based on the session and the session. Do you know? Can you tell me where I can find this session info, the route information? Any idea?
From the web.php, right?
Yep. Yes, you're correct. So here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here you decide the controller and the function that you're going to call inside the controller. Am I right?
Yeah.
And when you call redirect, you have to call it on a name of controller, or you have to give it a path that is going to call. So a path contains two information. It will contain the controller name. Am I right? Or
Yeah.
no? Or it is just the URL that is provided here, or the name that is provided here.
No, it depends on the controller. Which
Okay, okay, that's good. Okay, so okay, now as long as you know how to add and edit or use the controller, then it is actually quite fine. So what we need to do now is that we need to move to student controller. So student controller is we're going to redirect to it to show the dashboard. So let me just let me think. What should we do? Okay, now let me get that first. Let me get this guy password. I think maybe you cannot see my screen. I need to go here. Let me share my screen with you. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, so that I do the login. I think I put the password, I believe. No, I think I need to put here. Yeah, this is username. So I think, yeah, the password is. Do you know what is the password that you have for different usernames on your system?
I couldn't see, but I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around that.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So, okay. So this is the table users, and this is the username, and this is the password before he used SHA. So SHA will encrypt the password. So he passed the clear username to SHA, and this will result in unreadable or garbage password that nobody is able to actually detect what is its origin. So okay, so this is the username, and this is a password, and this is for student. So we have one for parent, Jane Smith. We have also two username for teachers. We have Alice Brown and we have Bob White. And the teacher have a password like teach password and another password, teach password 2. So, okay. At the moment, what I did is that I copy John Doe, the username, and I take the password, and then I go to put them inside here. So when I try to log in now, I'm supposed to go to a student dashboard. So I will do the login, and then after I log in, so this is a, I'm so sorry. This is the information that is going to appear for me on the student dashboard. So this is the initial design for the student dashboard. Of course, it needs to be improved. But at the moment, we are going to show two things on, we're going to show two things initially, the lessons, okay? So we have some links here, and we have some questions, which is exercises. And we are going to show also what is the information about the student himself. What is his email? What is his age? So from where you get that is from table students. Do you have a table that's called student?
Yeah. I have a table called students. I'm using the table that you created.
Okay. So you can see it here, right? So you
Yeah.
can see that I have his email, and I have his first name, and I have his second name. I have his age also here. So this is the information that I'm showing on the dashboard. Okay? Okay. So, okay. We know very well that this table student actually have, if I go to the database, I will find that it have a user ID. So I take the associated ID. So you can see here, this is an associated ID. For every username that login, this is his username, this is his password, and the important information for him is the associated ID. Using this associated ID, I am able to tie this table users, with another table. I'm able to tie it to table student, for example. You are not able here to see the ID. In this construction, you are not able to see the ID. The ID is hidden because it's an automatic column that got incremented automatically by the MySQL. So how can we see it? Then allow me to off here, and then I try to, let me see here. Give me a second. I think I need to. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen? What can you see in my screen?
Right now I'm seeing, okay, right now I'm seeing the table.
And what was you seeing previously?
The previously was the, what's it called? The SQL. The
Okay.
SQL.
Okay. So now you are seeing my table users. Am I right? Is that clear to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's clear.
And we see the associated ID, which is a foreign key. So, okay. Now, this is table student. Okay. So this table student have a student ID, but you cannot see the student ID in the previous structure when we created that. Why? Because this is a primary key. And so we can see it from the structure here. If I click the structure, so this is a primary key. Can you see that sign? So it's telling that it's a primary key. Do you know what is its function?
Yeah, for its uniqueness in the table. Yeah.
Okay. And do you know that every
primary key should be different, right?
Yeah, yes. And typically you see here the word auto increment. Do you see it?
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
Okay. So, okay, when we see auto increment, okay, what I want to say that, so this is handled automatically by MySQL. Okay, so it means that the numbering there is beyond our control. It's done automatically. So even if you delete a column, so if I browse here, I will be able to see this 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and every time I add a row, then it will be incremented. So the associated ID that I got it from here is referring to this ID. So this here, can you see that here? Here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, you see 1, 1, 1. So why is that 1? Why is it repeated like that? Because it is referring to this, to the student ID in this case, because this is a student. It is referring to the parent ID because it's the table parent, and it is referring to the teacher table. So it's referring to 1 and 2 in the teacher table. So if I go to the teacher table, there is a teacher table. Then I will be able to see Alice Brown, and he have a teacher ID 1 and 2. So the ID that I get from table users, I'm able to query this table using the ID, and I'm able to get all the details of the teacher here. Did I make myself clear? Is it confusing?
No, yeah, I understand.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so if I stop sharing and then I go back to here. Okay, so I have 2 other tables. One is called lessons and another one called questions. So inside my, and another one called the score. Okay, so again, the point here is that you first need to do this student controller. So when you are dealing with a student, then most probably then you need to create a controller for student. When you are dealing with parent, you need to make a controller and a model and a view for students, specifically for student, and another one for teacher, and another one for admin, and another one for parent, because every one of them will totally see a different information, and we need to query different table. The admin and the parents might not need to see the lessons, but they need to see if their student or their Anna already finished the exercises, or which lessons he already finished and which didn't. Maybe they are not interested to actually access the lessons itself. They need to access the status of completion. If the Anna already read or finish the exercise, or maybe watch already the video and so on. Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's good. So let me then try to move to the coding side. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, this is one.
Okay, so, okay, let me try to understand from you if you really understand what this is doing.
You mean the arrow part, right?
Mm-hmm. The if statement.
So this if statement is determine the session is I the student, right?
Yes, so it determines if the role that is stored inside the session is a student. So the role, where did I first actually store it? I store it in the authentication controller. So you see here, based on the storage information that I stored here, I stored here the role and the user ID and the username. So I come here, I want to confirm that the role is a student before I continue. Okay? And then the second thing, I need to get out the user ID from inside the session. So the student have a student ID. I store it inside the variable, and then I query the database for the student, the table student. I query it based on the ID that I got from the session. So if I don't store the information inside session, there is no other way. There is complicated ways in Laravel. I mean, there is ways that you can actually no need to store directly inside session like that, and you can use some techniques, other techniques in Laravel, but you still have to use session. But maybe it is session information that is only related to Laravel. So I'm talking here about the basic PHP way, okay? So I'm able to use it inside any framework, either Laravel or any other framework. So at the moment, I get the information that is stored in the memory, inside the session area in the memory, and I store it here, and then I query the database for it. So the result will be the information like the user, the first name and last name, and then maybe the email and the age of that student. It will return in a row. And then, but I still need to query other information because, okay, in the dashboard, I'm showing information about the lesson. And I'm showing information about the exercise. So for every lesson, there is an exercise associated to it. So, and how I do that? So I understand that this might be slightly complicated, is it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, I understand that this is a start. So typically you find it slightly complicated. I understand that. Now, okay, let me try to. Give me a second, please. I need to open for you. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, you see your
Okay,
screen.
so, okay. Now, there is two information that actually it is important for us to know at the moment before we dive a little bit more. So we have an exercise table that got an exercise ID, and we got also a lesson ID. Okay, so of course, for every lesson, there will be a different exercise. Okay, so this is initially how we structure our exercise table. And then we have lesson, like that, a lesson table that got lesson ID, lesson chapter, lesson title, file location, category. Okay, so this is the table that actually we are able to store all the lesson information inside it. Okay, so what we need to do is that we need to show every lesson. We need to query the lesson table, and for every lesson we got from here, we got an ID, a lesson ID. So we need to actually find. We need to use it to do a query again to the exercise table, and we do that by something called left join. Did you hear about joins before? So there is something called left join, and there is something called inner join. Did you hear about that before?
Yeah, I heard about it. It determines on which of the table that we use, right? We join on
so the
we
first,
join
yes. So if you were joining two tables, so based on the type of join, you would decide, okay, So maybe if you're querying first the lesson table, so for every lesson, you will list all the lessons. And some lessons might have no exercise. So, but we will list all the lessons. So when you do left join, it means that left join with the lesson table here, and here the exercise table. So you will list all the lessons, even if they don't have an corresponding exercise here. Okay, so you will list the lesson 1. Maybe it doesn't have exercise. Maybe, and you list lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, and all of them have exercises here. Okay, so even if you don't have an exercise, you still list the lesson here. So the result will have all the lessons, either it have an exercise or not. Other type of joins will decide based on you do a right join or left join or inner join. So sometimes with a join, you only got common things on both tables. Okay, so in this case, I would say, let me go back to the code here. Can you see my table? Sorry, my screen. Can you see my screen? Are you able to see my code, the code here?
Yeah.
So, okay, we do a left join. So first we say that this is our left table, okay, and which is a table lesson, and then we will join it with the exercise table. So by doing so, I'm querying two tables at the same time, and then I have to link both tables. So how I do that? I take the lesson ID from the table lesson, I connect it with equality, so it means I check equality with the lesson ID inside the exercise table. Both tables have a lesson ID. So if I manage to get the ID here equals the ID here, so it means that I return the result. I associate the information together. So how am I doing that? So can you see that in my result? I know that is confusing as a start. So can you see here?
Yeah.
I would like to let you know that this is the lesson and this is the question. So a question is an exercise. How I managed to get this question. I managed to get it by this kind of left join. So I know that this file and this video like that have a lesson ID. And this exercise also have a lesson ID in the table. I managed to relate them together because both of them are stored in different tables. I managed to store them in this way together because I know they are related based on the lesson ID. So this lesson ID comes from the exercise table. And this lesson ID comes from the lesson table. By checking equality that both are equal, I know that they are related. So far, okay?
Yeah, so far, okay.
Okay, I know it's confusing, but again, if you look at the code also and you study it a little bit, you will find that it's not so complicated. It acts as a start. So when a student actually finish homework, so he'll be able to show a score. Okay, so so this is exercise questions, which is, if you look at it, this is the same question here. And can you see that here? This question, you will see it here. So we can see the score of the student here. So this is the basic information that we are able to show. And once we reach that level, we are able to work on improving. Okay, we can actually connect and put real files here. Okay, and find a way to know if the student really finished or opened that file. They click on that file and then open it. We have no way or no idea if he really watched the video. If it is a video, we got no way to know if he really actually finish the video or not. We can only guess. There is only some guesses that we do. So maybe you can count the click. You can make sure that he already click it. If he click it, maybe then in your system you say that he already watched it. But of course, he can click on a video and open it, and maybe it doesn't finish it all. Okay, and you cannot go into YouTube and check if he already finished it or not. This beyond your programming level here, and in general, even in general, also is very difficult. So, but there is other ways we can guess. How we can guess, for example, if the user, for example, that he doesn't do any actions he doesn't click any button here. So we know, for example, that this video lesson will take at least 10 minutes to finish. Okay, so this means that, yeah, our code will get complicated, and I don't recommend that kind of complications. That is more complex than your current level. Okay, I believe this needs senior to be able to do it, but it can be done. So it can be done means that, okay, we know that this video will need 10 minutes. If the user become idle, does not perform any action or any clicks on this page again before 10 minutes, then we can say that we can guess that he already watched that video. But the simplest way at the moment is that you can only know that he watched the lesson or read it. It can be a file, it can be a video, if he finished the exercise. If he doesn't finish, it means that there is no way we can know that he already watched that video. So the only way we can know if he finished the questions that is related to the lesson. Typically, if he didn't watch the lesson or even read it, there is no way that he can actually finish the questions. So this is the best guess that we can do, and I want you to stick to that and no more complications than that. Okay. So at the moment, what I'm going to do is that I will provide you with the controller and also the model for that. So do you know, when I make a model here, I will make it based on what? Based on the table exercise, or based on what, actually?
Based on the model, right?
The model here, so every controller have its own model. In this case, so the teacher controller here is actually, we tie it to the teacher table. Okay, so we know that controller, we put the business logic. A business logic means that what actually you want to show to the user. So you put all that code, database querying, inside the controller. And the model is the one that is connecting you to the database. Okay, so you fill in here what table you want to use, and then the view, whatever you actually stored inside variables inside the controller, you're going to pass it to the view to show it to the user. Is that concept clear to you?
Can you repeat again?
Okay, yes, I can repeat again. Okay, now, but before I repeat again, do you mind telling me what you currently understand about the controller and model and view? What do you understand about these three? And we call that, by the way, MVC. So this is a programming concept. Either you use Laravel, you use other framework other than Laravel, then the concept MVC is there. Okay, can you tell me, please?
Yes, so the view part is where I put my how I would like my system to look like, right?
Yep. No, no,
For the
no.
control,
Can you repeat again, please, if you don't mind? Sorry, I apologize.
so the view part is what I like for my system to looks like how we
Yes, the
uh,
UI. Yes.
the UI, yes, user interface. The controller is where is how to explain. The controller is where I would like I would like for um, the controller is where I would like to put uh how I would like to associate on what view what what view it should go to.
Yes, yes, correct. 100% correct. Yes. Okay, what about the model?
Yes. The model is I'm actually a little bit confused. The model is where we associated the database table, right?
Yes, where you decide what table you are going to use for that, for querying or for connecting your, um, how to say,
Database. Is it
database. Yes,
database?
yes, 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 database. Yes. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, now let me see. And okay, let me also tell you. So what we put inside the controller, we put all our business logic. What does it mean, business logic? If we want to confirm, okay, before we show a view to the user, we need to do some checks. We are not able to write, and it is not recommended to write PHP code inside the view. So inside the view, we only show data. If we use PHP, but we only use it to show data. But we don't process information there. We don't query the tables there. Where we query the table and the database, and where we put our if statements and checks is inside the controller. Is this part clear?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So all the database queries, I store all the results that of querying the database inside variables, and I put them inside the controller. And if I open the student controller here, you will see that I got 3 variables: student, lessons, and scores. So student is the result of querying the student table. And I got inside the first name, second, last name, and the age of the student. The lessons, I got what inside? I got how many lessons and the exercises that is related to it. Okay. And if there is an exercise that is not related to a lesson, I'm not going to show it. But then if you look here, so these lessons is the result of making a join, left join, between the table lesson and the table exercise. And the scores is the result of querying the score table joined with the exercise table. Okay, so I will leave that to explain it in the next class, but I want you to first try to integrate that code inside your project at the moment. At the end, the view, this is what we're going to call the student dashboard view. This is the view file. I'm passing it only 3 variables: student, lessons, scores. This is the scores. So you will find many rows inside. And the lesson, you will find many rows inside. And also the student, it's a student only 1 row. Okay. So, and I'm storing that student under this name. And I'm storing the lessons under this name. I am storing the scores under this name. And then inside the view, I will try to retrieve these 3 names. I will try to make a for loop for these 2, because these lessons, maybe I'm having 10 lessons, maybe I'm having 20 lessons. So based on the for loop, I'm able to get all the scores and all the lessons. As a student, we only typically, in this student dashboard, we know that this student dashboard belongs to only a single student. So I no need to make any for loops here, okay? So this is quite simple. So at the moment, I believe I have tried my best to simplify, and the code is actually quite simple. I mean, if we talk about other coding, if you do that specific coding in bare PHP, there will be a lot of steps here. I mean, you have to understand this framework still, even though it looks complicated as a start, because Laravel is slightly complicated than other frameworks, but it still carry a lot of things in the background for you. It do a lot of things in the background that you don't really need to actually see it. So far, is it okay? So far, like this is okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, that's actually good. Okay, can then you share with me your homework, please?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
please make sure that after every class you review, you start to do that. Don't delay that, because we're only taking a class a week. So that would be quite tough for you if you just didn't really do any practice things here. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, okay. Now share with me, please.
I'm not sure about the is uppercase. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, no, not yet. So there was two exercises, am I right?
I think it's three.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
There's
Uh,
three exercise.
yeah,
The is
okay.
consonant, uppercase, and is digit.
Okay, give me a second, please. Give me a second. I need to open a window, please.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I believe that you just needed to only hmm. So can you explain to me what was the exercise about, please?
The exercise is about determine the Boolean for finding a consonant, finding a uppercase letter, and finding a digit between 0 to 9.
Okay, finding
So
what is this? Can you? I mean, okay. So this is what? Let me just a second. What is this?
finding the consonant letter,
Which is
which is all letters except vowels.
okay. Clear. Okay. So, okay, that is excellent. Okay, so you say if it is not equal, not equal, not equal, then okay. Did you test it?
Yeah, I tested.
Does it return the same thing like the examples given to you in the exercise?
Yeah, it did the same thing.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay, can you explain the next, please?
The next is find the uppercase, but actually this one was I got a bit confused. Because I was using ChatGPT at first.
Mm-hmm.
It shows like show you what it shows. It shows it using a loop file like this one. This is what it shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you want me to use I think De Morgan's law. No,
Yeah, yeah,
what do
yeah.
you call
Yes, De
the
Morgan's and also the then, yeah. But okay,
the Zen
now,
concept.
yes, both, yeah. So okay,
Yes.
so in
So
uppercase, let me ask you one thing. So now you pass it a character, okay, but what if this S is actually a string? Because what when we mentioned in the exercise, I said write a method named is uppercase that checks if a string contains an uppercase letter. So it means that S is not a character. So if I got AB like that, I'm not going to make something specific just to take this A out of this string. I'm just going to pass the whole thing here to the function. So it means that this function need to take a string, not a character. And then I want to check if A, the first letter, is actually a capital or not. Confusing?
yeah, I tried at first. At first I was using like this. First I was using string, and
Mm-hmm.
then I tinker a little bit with the coding. Actually, when I started using that, I used this coding this year. This coding where I start using string.
Mm-hmm.
So I was maybe I want to just use the return only the return value like with using the Zen concept. So when I found out that I found out about this character, I never understood what this character do exactly.
Okay, so
This character function.
this character, okay, you pass it a single character, and it checks for you if it is an uppercase or not. So it returns to you. So actually, this is what I want to say, that it is a helper method. Okay, so character here, the character itself that you're using here, it is a class. Okay, but we didn't go into more details here. So what I want to say that we have taken classes, right? Somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. So this character, it's a built-in class that belong to Java, and they make it so that it have helper functions that can provide to us ready-made methods that we can use. One of the ready-made methods is uppercase, and you pass it a single letter, and it will tell you if this letter is actually capital or not. Okay, so again, this uppercase belong to the character class. If you just write uppercase, it will actually will not know this uppercase belong to which character. Okay, so imagine so again, if we talk about PHP just now with the Laravel, you have many controllers, right? And inside each controller, there is index method, and there is a login method, maybe, for example. So all of them can be inside one controller. So we can say, actually, in reality, this controller is actually a class that have many methods inside. So a character here is a class that have many methods inside. to use it, I have to mention, same like when you go to the authentication controller, especially when you write that in the route, you have to mention the controller, and you have to also mention the method that you're going to call. Okay, so you cannot, you have to mention both the class name and the method that is inside the class that you want to use. So this is what you are doing here in this character dot is uppercase. Is it clear, or am I confusing you, or you are lost, or how is it?
No, it's clear.
Okay, so by using this if statement alone is actually enough, but the problem is that you need, I mean, this only accept a single character. So to be able to accept a single character means that you need to take the first character of S. So imagine S is like that, and you need to only get the first character. It means that, did you see that before? So S is a string, and character add is a method that can be used with strings to actually get a character at certain position. Where is the position? We mentioned here the index. So
0.
So 0. Okay, in this case, it's 0 and it's always 0. Okay, now if we use the then concept, it means that we don't need to really make an if statement. We can just say, like what you write here, return character is uppercase, but what we need to mention here, we change this S to S dot character at 0. The A is capital and the C is small, like what you write is correct. And A, T capital, T, yeah, T small, yes, correct, yes.
Why is it still?
You can hover on it. Is it the string is small? Can you please make sure that S is really the string?
So
Yeah. Okay, now is it okay?
yes.
Can you test it, please, if it works or not? Can you pass it a capital string and see if it works? No, we don't pass it a single. We pass it a string, real string, yeah. And can you pass it a longer string, please? Okay, good. Does it work?
Yeah, it works.
Okay. So next time when you do a printing, put some text so that we can recognize if what we are actually mentioning is correct or not. Okay. I mean,
Right,
so
sure.
yeah. Okay, that's good. But then go back again, please. So, okay. May I know? Can you please call? So show me, where did you call this uppercase?
Oh, the second one.
Okay. Can you put an empty string, please?
What?
Empty string. Just totally empty. Nothing here. Run. Why is it?
Because it didn't read any what's it called? Input.
Okay. How can you check the length? How can you check the length of Okay, we take a concept that is called in the if statements. We take this concept that say that if we have two conditions, one here and another here, and this is an and say that the result of this will be true only if both conditions are true. So if we make a single check here, we can avoid this kind of exception. So we know very well that this character dot is uppercase method must take a real character. It cannot take it something empty. So what if we put here a certain check condition that checks the length of S? Can we do that? Do you know how to do that? How to check the length of S that is bigger than 0? Do you know the length function?
Is it S dot length, right?
Exactly, perfect, yes. Okay, so I think maybe you cannot recall back how that was used. But when we use s.length, if you put it inside a print statement, you will find that this alone returns something. If we want to compare it, so we can put something like that, bigger than 0, or bigger than 1, or bigger or equal 1, for example. But not anything inside. It does not. The length is it return to us something, and it doesn't take any input from us. It takes the input from the S itself.
That's right.
If you put it bigger than or equal 0, it means that it will still accept 0 as a good input. But if you run now, you will see the same error occurs. Can you run? Yes. Okay, that's good. Can you try to run and see if the error still happen? Now the error still happen. Now, can you tell me why, even though you already listened to what your tutor is telling you, but you're still facing the problem? Why? Because when we I mean, Daniel, I know that you are trying hard to improve, and I can see the improvement in every class, that there is although there is a slow improvement, but there is improvement, and that is good for your case at your level. Okay, but I want you, please, I want you to revise the slides before our class, because when we mentioned that we need the short circuit, means that you move that first here. So it means that this will be the first check to be done. And if it didn't pass, he will never check this. So this portion with AND need to be moved in the front. Excellent. Yes, that's good. Can you try to run? Wow, the error disappear. Just only by rearranging your code, the error disappear. Did you understand
Yes.
why this happens?
Yes. So it So it needs to read the length first, the
Yes.
method length, right?
Yes. And the Java itself will never execute that if this is false. So it means that we never run that line. We never run it. We know that our length is already 0. So it means that this will definitely not pass. It will return false. If it return false and we are having an AND condition here, we will never run that. The Java will do this short circuit. Okay, I believe this short circuit is not okay. Let me just give me a second to share, please. I need to share my code with you. So do you see this short circuit evaluation?
Yeah.
Okay, so the short circuit evaluation say that if you use if and you have two conditions here and you go AND in the middle, we will never execute that part of the if statement if this is false. Only if this is true, we're going to run this if this condition to check if it's true or false. Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so again, what we did is we do this if, but in the form of the then, which means that we didn't even put an if, we just put it in one line with the return. So far, is it clear? Or is it confusing to you?
No, it's clear.
Really? Not confusing?
But can you repeat again? I kind of
Yes.
got lost.
Yes. Okay. Are you still sharing? Do you see my screen?
No. Yeah, I'm seeing your screen.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So what we said from the last class, we said these two things. We said if count is 0 equals 0 above, so okay, if the count is equal 0, there is a potential that we divide by 0. So we dividing the sum by the count. If sum is divided by 0, we'll have an exception. We have an error. However, short circuit, okay, which is a concept in the Java, prevent this, because if this count bigger than 0 condition is false, it will stop early. Stop means that Java will not go and test this condition. It will try to save time. Saving time and computing power is something that Java will do if this condition is actually false. If it is true, then it will execute that. If it is false, it will not. I need to repeat again.
No. So it make sure that we have to put on which
Condition first.
Condition first, on which condition that is true, right?
Yes, 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 correct. But let me see. Let me see here. Okay, may I? Okay, so can you see that?
The truth table.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So the thing is, understanding the truth table is the key to understand this. So P is a condition, Q is a condition. If both we know for AND, we need both to be true in order for us to have the AND condition result is true, right? So if the first condition is equal false, so we know for sure without even checking this second condition, we know that if one of them is false, definitely the result will be false. Even if this is true, which is the count, in our case, okay, then we need to check. We need to still check the second condition. But if the first is already false, we know. So if the first is already false, we either have this condition or this condition, which is maybe both of them is false, maybe one is false and the other one is true. And also, it doesn't matter. Both of them will be at the end will result in a false result like that. Did I make myself clear? But you know, if you have an or condition in the, so if P and Q are having an or condition in the middle, that will be a different story. Then this short circuit that you're trying to do will not happen, because in the or we only need one true. So it means that by any way he will check the second one. So if you go to now your code and remove this and remove it and put or between your two conditions, then you will see the error again happen. Because in the or, two of them must be, I mean, either one can be true. If either one is true, actually the result is true. So it means that the Java will make sure that to check both conditions. So can I ask you something, please? Can you share your code again and change that part in your code?
Change to what exactly?
So go to this or, sorry, I apologize, this end. You make it or.
So that means if I make it or, it's either one has to be true, right?
Yes. So yes, if you run, you will see the error again happen to you. The same error that you actually run away from it. So why? Because in the or, the Java knows, even if this is false, there is a chance that the whole thing can be true. Because in the or, the truth table say that if we got one true, then the whole result will be true. So if it see false here, it will still execute that. But in the end, no. In the end, the truth table say that both of them must be true to have a true end result. Did you understand that, or still a bit confusing?
Yeah, I think I get it.
Okay.
I think I get around 60%.
Okay. 50%. Yep, that is okay. And yeah, you can increase that, of course, by revising, which is totally fine. Okay. But you must check that, because again, this concept you also can still use it in your PHP, in your coding in general. It will apply to every language. Okay. Okay. Then okay. Can you then? Yeah, that is excellent. Can you explain to me your other solutions, please?
This one.
So, okay, now what about isDigit?
So isDigit is like we are comparing, not comparing, we want the user to input a digit between 0 to 9.
Okay, so there is a function, same like you got a function that is called character is uppercase. There is a function that is called character isDigit.
Okay.
So, okay, and the function is called character is and then you have to pass it the character that you want to check. So of course it takes a character. Okay, so this is exactly same like the one that you use here. Okay, so you can take something and then you don't need to really, I mean, okay, I understand what you're doing is actually correct, will result in a true answer. But again, if we are able to save our time by knowing a function, a helper function like that, why not?
Using the same concept, right?
Yes, exactly the same concept. Yes. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. And then we go to the first function that you created.
This one?
Yep. So this one, we are actually able to improve here. So, but never mind. Let me go to the other exercise, please. No, you have we finished the eighth digit is uppercase, but there is another exercise.
There
The one
is.
that I asked you to just write it.
Oh, this one, the non-vowel.
Okay. So okay, you created is vowel, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you wrote this, right?
yeah,
And there was nothing that you else you can change, right? You just
yeah. Oh,
reversed that, right?
yeah. This is
Okay. But do you think that we are able to improve? Any space for improvement in your opinion?
for what? For its vowel,
In this method?
this non-vowel. Oh, yeah, yeah. This one. Uh, just like this.
Okay. Be honest with me. Did you see it somewhere or you know it by yourself? I mean, at
Uh,
the end, I just need to I need to gauge your level only, not because of anything. So honesty, it helped me to plan for your classes.
okay. I think I saw this on one of your slides, maybe.
Okay, okay, that's okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But you understand it.
Yeah, yeah. We not using the what's it called? Is vowel function. We it means that we call the isval function, but totally the opposite of the isval, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, we do the opposite of it. So we invert the result of that. Okay. So is it clear
Okay.
to you?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So let me see here. What else we need to? I think you can stop sharing. I will try my side on my side to share here. Then consult. Okay. Loops is very important. I think you know about loops and maybe you hear about it before. Do you know when should we use a loop?
When you like have maybe when you like have the same answer, same questions the user wants to input and wants a different outcome.
Okay, that is yeah, that's good. And yalla, okay, that's one of the ways. Okay, that is actually good. And did you hear about the while loop before?
Yeah, I heard about while loop before.
Okay, and to make the while loop continue running, what is the thing that we need to actually put inside the condition here? We need to make it false or we need to make it true.
True.
So while true, we execute that statement. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So if it become false, what should we do?
It stop the
Okay,
loop.
excellent. Do you understand this code from starting from here until here?
Yeah. Wait. Initialize count. Yeah, I understand the code. So the code asks for how to explain it.
No worries about no need to arrange your words. Just say whatever comes to your mouth. No need to think too much. Don't busy your mind with arranging the words. Just say to me, and yeah.
Okay, so the code wants us to not count the loop, check the loop. Check the loop.
What is the condition here? What the
condition
is asking?
Is asking for the count is less or equals to 5.
And what is the current, before you enter the loop, what is the current value inside count?
The current count is equals to 1.
So is it 1 less than or equal 5?
Yeah.
So we will run. And then the first time we run, what is...
It will plus 1 each time the
so
code
it means that when we run first, we add 1 plus 1, which is equal to, right?
Yeah.
And then we go and check the condition again. And so we are going to check 2 is less than 5 or not. This is true or false?
True.
Okay, so we will run again, we will print, and then we will add 1 to the 2. It becomes 3. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then 3 is compared to the 5. Is it true or false?
It's true.
And then we execute that line, and then we add another 1 here. So when we add another 1, become 4. So we come here and say, is it 4 less than 5 or not?
Yeah, it's 4 is less than 5.
Okay, and then we execute that line, and then we add another 1. So it becomes 5. Okay, now if we say 5 is less than or equal 5 or not?
Yeah, it's equals to 5.
So it means that we execute that line again, and then we add another 1. It becomes 6. Now, if it is 6, can we say 6 is less than or equal 5?
It's more than 5, so the loop will end.
So we cannot execute that again. So it means that we can only print from 1 until we reach 5 here, and then we will stop. So the purpose of that loop is to actually print numbers from 1 until 5. Is that clear, the purpose of the code?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Okay. What is your understanding from the 2 codes below? Especially when it comes to actually using the curly braces. Why do we need to use the curly braces, and why is it important, and what will happen if we didn't use it?
What's the question again? Sorry.
Okay. I wanted you first to understand about the code. Okay.
Okay.
And the second thing is, okay, one more important thing, please. When you listen or go to a lecture or go to a meeting, when you start to work in a company, I want you always to have a small notebook with you. So okay, let me try to explain this. Again, I'm not criticizing. Allah creates everybody with different abilities. And in your case, you have a small working memory. Does this make you bad? No, because you didn't create yourself. This is Allah creation. And we have to accept it, but we have to deal with it. So in my opinion, when you have a small working memory, your ability to listen to a lot of requests is not easy. It is difficult. So I don't want you to stress yourself. At the same time, it will not look good if you are dealing with your professor or dealing in a company, and then they give you instructions, and then you go back again and ask them about it. For me, I'm your tutor, so it doesn't matter. I'm able to explain to you 1 or 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. But in a company, they will not do that to you. So you have to find solutions for things so that you don't let others know about what is happening with you. Do you understand? So
Yeah,
as much as you can, you cover yourself. They say it in the politics of a company, cover your ass. It's not a nice term, but okay, this is how they say it. So to cover that, walk always with a notebook. Every request that you hear, write it down. Everything that, to me personally, I always walk with a to-do list. So I always have a to-do list to actually list all the things that I need to do in a certain day. Why I need to do that? Because I know that even with me, I will take and occupy a space in my working memory if I keep my to-do list in my brain. I want to free my brain from that. And I want to avoid, I want to prioritize my things that I need to do through a day, or even through 2 or 3 days. So I want to free also my mind from that. So I would write everything that I need to do. And based on the priority, I will start to do it. Based on the deadline that is associated with a task, I start to do it. This will work for a company. This will work for your personal days and your task on your personal life. This will work for everything. So please, when you go to sit with your professor, so that you don't forget, you can do 2 things. You can record if he allows. If he doesn't allow recording, I mean, inside your phone, you're able to use any app that do a voice recording. This one thing. The second thing is you do write, take notes. Okay.
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 So I'm taking notes. Just when you talk, I using the notepad to type the. I
Excellent.
just got lost. It's when you ask the question.
No problem. No problem. I don't mind. It's okay. And no problem from my side. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Good. So my question to you is, if you look at this while loop, if we didn't, so first of all, what it does, we need to understand what it does first.
So it's for the while loop.
Yeah.
So it is making sure that either x is less or equals to 10. The condition.
Okay. So
Yeah.
and yeah, okay. If it is okay. So and then it does nothing inside the loop other than incrementing the x. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
So it will keep incrementing the x until this condition becomes false, and then it will exit. Am I right? Okay, so can you see that he write here that he makes the curly braces in red? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, here he totally doesn't use any curly braces. So why he doesn't use curly braces? Any idea?
Because it doesn't have any more conditions.
Any more statements? So the
Yeah.
condition is only here, right? This is a statement. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to say that if you only have one line that is associated or need to be executed with a while, you actually no need to put a curly brace, no need, okay? Because automatically Java will understand that if you didn't put a curly braces, it will take the only one line after the while, and it will consider it belong to the while loop. Other than that, it will consider it outside the while loop. Okay, so but if you put curly braces, you are able to put multiple lines as you wish. So your while loop can have 10 lines, 20 lines, whatever. Okay, is that clear to you?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so I want you to actually try to so the same applies to the if statement. If you have only one line, it means that you don't need to actually put a curly braces. You can still go, it will still, the if statement will still work if you only put one line under the if statement. Am I clear so far?
Yeah, it's clear. So if if it only has one statement, I don't have to put in curly braces, right?
Yes. Can you please try to write this code? Actually, you don't need to write this. Just write this. Okay. So
Which one? The first one?
This one, yes. And this will be the last thing that we talk about today.
All right, done.
Okay. So if you have no other questions, we can end the session here.
No, right
Do you-
now, no
It's
questions.
okay. Okay. So
okay.
so should we continue the classes in the same way that we are doing at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay. Then see you next class. Take care.
All right, see you next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.